I'm sorry we didn't get to play with the man. My next guest is a very talented and funny comedian. He starred in his own series last season called The Duck Factory, which was seen right here on this very network. He will be appearing in person with Rodney Dangerfield at the Universal Amphitheater in Los Angeles on August 13th and 14th. Please welcome Jim Carrey.
Well, I'm real happy to be here in New York, you know. I always try to adjust myself to my surroundings. That's why when I'm in New York, I'm never afraid because I know how to communicate with the street people. Hey, buddy. Do you find it unusually windy today? Now, I'm very flexible, too, which is good, because if I get tired of this body, I can just slip into Sammy Davis Jr.'s.
Right on, ma'am. I knew a man, bear jangles, and he danced for him. In worn-out chairs, silver hair, a ragged shirt, and baggy pants. Held some chair.
Thank you. I'd like to go way back now. You know, I think I've probably spent most of my life staring in the mirror. I have. But I'm not vain, you see, because I don't stare at myself. I stare at Leonid Brezhnev. Clint Eastwood. Michael Landon smiling. James Dean. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Charles Nelson Riley, the Extraterrestrial. Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very impressive. I thought you were terrific on that program, also, Duck Factory.
The Duck Factory.
Yeah. Was that a lot of fun to do?
That was a great deal of fun to do. I loved it. Jack Guilford was especially fun to work with.
Yeah. It was a nice idea, nice show.
Yeah,
is it difficult to do all of that stuff with your face? I know that sounds like a jerky question, but is it...
Well, not considering I don't know how to do anything else, so I do that all day long. I mean, that's what I do. You know, so I suppose if I wanted to, I could go into a different line like sales or something. You know, I could be a salesman.
Sure.
An insurance salesman.
Yeah.
Can I do my pitch for you?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, this would be my pitch. Hi, Jim Carrey. David Letterman?
Yeah.
I sell embarrassment insurance.
Oh, good.
That type of thing I could do.
Yeah, you could do that pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever, of course, you're a very young man, but do you ever worry about injuring yourself or getting old or any of that? You're very physical.
Yeah, a lot of people say, you know, you're going to get old, you're going to lose the physicality and that, but I suppose, you know, I look at my father, who is a real interesting character, and I think, you know, even if I lose the physicality, I'm going to be a great character when I get old, you know? Like, my father is the happiest man on the face of the earth.
That's great.
He laughs after everything you say. Mm-hmm. And he's deaf in one ear, so he dips and laughs.
Dips and laughs.
Huh? Seriously, the only time I ever saw my father serious was when he was trying to teach my sister how to drive a clutch. Mm-hmm. All right. No, this time, let the clutch out slowly.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I want to be exactly like my father. You think I will be?
I think you got a good shot.
Huh?
You'll be in Los Angeles August 13th and 14th. Jim Carrey. Nice job, Jim. Good to see you. Come back anytime. We'll be back with Johnny Blackwood. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the show. There are a few performers in the music business today who have survived for as many years as our next guest has. For over a decade, the Allman Brothers have provided us with their unique style of Southern rock and roll. Please welcome the main force behind the Allman Brothers, Greg Allman. Hi there. Welcome back to the show. Greg Allman is here. Enjoyed your song. Nice of you to be here, sir.
Thank you very much.
I remember there was a time when President Carter was in office that you were, I was led to believe that you guys would get together and sit around his house and so on and so forth. Does that still go on?
No, I haven't seen him. I got some mail from him. I got a letter from him right after our last album came out. It said, congratulations on your new album. No, it's not like he's, you know, one of my neighbors or anything.
Was he what you would call an avid Allman Brothers fan?
Oh, still is. Yeah.
Really? Is he just, I would guess that your typical fan is a little younger, maybe. Somehow.
I don't know. They range from all different ages. I had an old lady an elderly lady come up to me on the plane the other day, and I thought she was a little gray-haired, slow-walking old lady.
Yeah.
And she came up to me. I was sitting down. She was getting on the plane, and she saw me, and she jumped back real quick, and she says, "Oh, I just love Whipping Post. That's the best song you've ever written." And I thought,
have you had any calls from the Reagan folks?
None that I've accepted, no.
This is, I guess you're on the road a great deal of the time now, and this is the second version of the Allman Brothers. Now, I have a question here. What little traveling that I've done and performing, once you've done it for the evening, it's difficult to go to sleep, you know? I mean, because you're full of adrenaline.
That's true.
So, and I know that you don't drink, and how does a person relax after having performed?
Well, see, that's when a lot of the songwriting's done. Like, we get back to the hotel, and a lot of times me and Dickie Betts, or me and Danny Toller, or me and other guys in the band, we'll get together, and that's where most of the songwriting I do takes place after concerts, when you do have that adrenaline.
Yeah.
But it is true, no, I don't drink at all.
And that's
for 1 year.
So, That's a difficult thing to do, though, isn't it, stopping drinking like that?
You just don't bend your arm.
And that's all there is to it? It's that simple, eh?
No, no, it's very difficult, as a matter of fact. Depending on your body chemistry, it can be really difficult.
Did you worry about going back out into road circumstances and still not drinking?
Yes, I did, because it's in my line of work. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, it's everywhere anyway. You can't watch a ball game, you know, without having to tell you about your weekend or what have you.
Yeah.
But I finally just, what you have to do is just accept the fact that you can't keep going and drinking this stuff, and it's just, you're allergic to it. I mean, it's just not on the menu, and that's it. You have to absolutely, you can't lie to yourself that much. I mean, you just have to accept the fact that you can't drink.
Quit bending the arm, as you said. Are we ready for another bit of music here from Mr. Allman? What do you want to tell us about this song, Greg?
Oh, this is the first song I ever wrote and kept.
Okay, and the name of this is?
Melissa.
Terrific. And I guess you... We have to pause here. We'll return with film historians right after this.
All right. Our next guest is the executive chef of New York's Brasserie Les Halles and the author of this best-selling memoir of his life in the restaurant business entitled Kitchen Confidential. Here's Anthony Bourdain, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program.
Happy to be here.
I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this book. It was fascinating stuff. It seems like a great, wild, exciting, colorful life, being a chef, being a cook, working in restaurants and stuff.
The child's dream of running a pirate crew.
Yeah. Now, you used to run a restaurant, or had a restaurant right next door to this theater, right?
Yeah.
It was called Sullivan's, and you were hoping to cash in on that Ed Sullivan mania. What was the deal? Because everybody thought, well, great, this is nice. We have a nice restaurant here. But what happened to that?
Yeah, what a concept, an Ed Sullivan theme restaurant. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea, was it?
But, I mean, it wasn't really a theme restaurant, was it?
Yeah, I guess. We never figured it out. Was it a nightclub or were we a restaurant? I mean, Ed Sullivan is not the first name that comes to mind, you know, rollicking good time and a good meal.
Yeah. How long was that in business?
I think about 2 years.
Yeah. Let's talk about where. Tell me the story from the book about the time that you first had an oyster. You're a kid. You're in France with your family.
Yeah, I was bouncing around France with my family. Actually, they were dragging me around. I was not happy to be there.
Right.
I was complaining. You know, the butter tastes cheesy. This milk is strange. I hate this food. And we were invited out on an oyster boat with a neighbor, and who suddenly reached into the water and pulled one out, cracked one open. And I saw my whole family kind of recoil in horror. And I think largely because I realized this is a real opportunity to shock and horrify my family. I'm going to give it a shot.
Right.
And it was great.
So you, as a kid, you just really loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was the beginning. A little light went off, and you said, maybe I have a life in food here.
Food has power to you know, create an impression.
And then you spent a lot of time, I don't know, a lot of time, some summers working at a like a resort restaurant up in Cape Cod. Is that right?
Yeah, one of those places. You know, you've been there someplace like at a a ramshackle seafood restaurant, fried clams, fried shrimp, you know, French fries, diet, you know, light cooking. And you know, I was a dishwasher and just a summer job. And I looked over at the cooks, and these guys, they dressed like pirates, they carried big badass knives, they stole everything in sight, they drank for free, they had these incredibly prolific social lives, shall we say.
Sure.
That looked good to me.
Yeah. There's also another moment, I think, when you're working at one of these places when you had injured yourself working for a meal, and you asked a guy if there was like a first aid kit, or do you have any ointment or bacitracin lotion or something?
Right. Yeah, that's something you don't do in restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, it was my first real job as a cook. I thought I was hot stuff. I'd worked a little bit in this knucklehead restaurant, and I went into a restaurant where they really knew what they were doing. It was very busy. And I was in the weeds, as we say, just terribly behind, and I burned myself on a hot sizzle platter, one of the things they put under the broiler, and I turned to the guy next to me and said, you know, do you have a Band-Aid? And, you know, it was just the worst moment. Everybody, the whole kitchen went quiet, and the guy says to me, oh, you know, you want a Band-Aid, reaches under, grabs a sizzle platter, bare hand, puts it down in front of me, looking in my eyes the whole time. I just, you know, slunk home and, you know, thought about it.
Now, there was, let's talk about eating in restaurants. In New York City, we're like knee-deep in rats. Now, are there rats in restaurants in New York City?
Not my restaurant.
Yeah.
There are. I worked in a Mexican place years ago where they used to drag avocado pits and chicken bones up in the ceiling, and you'd be working, and suddenly the ceiling would crumble, and you know, chicken bones and
from the rats,
avocado
brought
would
it up.
come down. They'd come scurrying across your feet. I had one. They'd eat poison, curl up on my shoes in the kitchen. Horrible. Are they that prevalent? Not that.
Now, is it possible to have a sanitary kitchen and also have rodents in it? You know what I mean? Can you cook reasonable meals and still have mice and rats and stuff?
If you save them for stock,
yeah.
Make good use of them.
You know, there's when comedians get together, they love nothing more than to talk about times that they have bombed, when they've gone out and for an hour gotten no laughs. Is it the same with cooks and chefs? Do you get together and talk about meals that you really screwed up?
We're all control freaks. We've all had at least one, probably more, really terrible nights like that. And I think our whole lives are constructed in such a way as to avoid any possibility of that happening. I had one New Year's Eve at a big nightclub years ago that, you know, people who'd ordered at 9:30 at night were walking in the kitchen around 12:30, walking themselves in the kitchen, looking behind the line and saying, is that my appetizer? And the waiters were hiding in the kitchen. When the kitchen's quiet, you know you're in trouble.
Now, if there is like a wise guy eating in your restaurant, do you like touch his food and lick the plate and that kind of thing?
Not a good idea. No, we give them what they want, and quickly.
There's a very funny story in here, and my impression from this is that people in your profession go from one job, one restaurant, to another job, to another restaurant, and just make a big swing in a circle through the city and then back again, and they keep doing it over and over again. And you go to an interview, and it's like a steakhouse. And things are going pretty good, and finally, the owner of the steakhouse asks you one question, and you think, well, geez, how exactly do I answer this, and screwed up the whole thing. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, the guy had a very thick Scottish brogue, and I desperately needed this job, and I was doing so well in the interview, and he says, well, what do you know about me? And I'm trying to figure out, what does he want me to say?
Is it a trick
flatter
question?
him what?
Absolutely.
You know, I decided to be honest, next to nothing, I said.
Right.
And, you know, suddenly the interview's over, I'm on my way out the door. I thought, what did I do wrong? And I realized, you know, he runs a steakhouse, and what he really asks is, you know, what do you know about meat? And not the right answer.
Not much. Very little about what? About meat? No, nothing really.
And I was so
Had a
proud.
hamburger or two, that's it.
Yeah.
What do you think about these guys like Emeril Lagasse and those guys on the Food Network?
Well, you're asking me to, you know, kick Santa Claus in the crotch on television. I mean, everybody loves the guy.
I'd pay money to see that.
Me too. A nice guy who runs great restaurants. I find the show excruciating. Most chefs I know, we see it, we want to jump out the window.
And what about also like the Iron Chef, that kind of thing?
I don't understand it, but it's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting, isn't it? Now, if I would come to your restaurant tonight, or anybody comes to your restaurant tonight, and people do come to your restaurant, who's cooking their food? Are you cooking their food?
Not lately, no. I think the
You got a guy who does it.
I have a lot of guys to do it. I think the idea from television, people get the idea that the people cooking your food wear starch white jackets, they speak well, they're adorable and cuddly, like Emeril. In fact, they're more like a Mexican prison gang.
You laugh. Well, bon appetit! It's a fascinating book. It's doing well, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice job. Kitchen Confidential, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here. Nice to have you with us. Anthony Bourdain. We'll be right back with Foo Fighters. So much, Palm. Our next guest is one of America's leading chefs and the star of a new Travel Channel series entitled No Reservations. Here's Anthony Bourdain, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
Good to be here.
I have a lot of things to talk to you about, but first of all, let's remind people that you once worked here in the same building nearly, didn't you?
Yeah, that spot's not having a lot of luck, is it?
Well, they got a pretty good pizza place in there now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But yours was, it was based on Ed Sullivan, The Life of Ed Sullivan or something? That was the restaurant?
Not a good theme for a restaurant, I don't think, you know. Does Ed Sullivan spell fun and delicious?
What was the problem there? Was it the lease was the problem, the customers, the walk-in? What happened there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
All of the above.
Just didn't work. But since then, you've gone on to become the chef at wonderful French
Brasserie Leal,
yeah. And in your life, you've been a professional chef for like 26 years or so?
Yeah, about I spent the first 28 years of my working life standing up in a small closet-like space, one or the other, all over New York.
Right.
I'd seen very little of the world till recently.
And also a very accomplished author, best-selling books, Kitchen Confidential, on and on and on.
Yeah.
And will eat anything. Look at this guy,
Yes.
Paul. Is there an ounce of fat on the man?
There is not. You were right. It's thin as a rail.
I saw a part of the new show where you're in North Vietnam and you're eating porcupine.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, it's got to be horrible. How can it not be horrible?
Plus, it was like porcupine of indeterminate age.
That's
you know,
right.
the restaurant was closed when we arrived, and we were with somebody from the Interior Ministry who flashed a card. Suddenly they opened, and I'm looking at this thing. It really looked like roadkill. I was relieved, in fact, that it was porcupine. At least it was identifiable meat, you know.
And what did it taste like?
Not like chicken.
Yeah.
Somewhere between, you know, a turtle and cat food, you know.
Was it? Now, when I watch you on these shows, you always make it look like you're the luckiest man alive to be eating this wonderful indigenous presentation. But you must run across stuff that's just god awful, right?
I was just in Iceland for the show, and they eat once a year. They have a big sort of a traditional festival called Torablat, where they eat putrefied shark. That is, they let it rot, and then they marinate it in lye or lactic acid for 6 months. And this is
6 months.
This is like it wasn't bad enough already.
For 6 months.
And I will tell you, it is the single worst thing I have ever eaten in my life. And this is me talking. So I've eaten live reptile parts. So that's saying a lot.
And what about it do the Icelanders enjoy?
I think it's sort of a rite of passage celebrating earlier, harder times. I don't think a lot of them like it. I mean, they handle it with rubber gloves and pick it up with toothpicks, so they don't even touch it. It's really nasty. You know, if you think back on your childhood goldfish that died like 35 years ago, if you were to revisit them now and take a big bite out of them, that would pretty much reproduce the same textural flavor experience,
Right,
I think.
Right. But the truth of it is, the human organism can pretty much eat anything, can't it?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. Have you ever had food poisoning when you're traveling doing these shows?
I violated every known traveler's warning of what you're not supposed to eat under any circumstance. Generally, if I'm a good guest, if locals are eating it or drinking it, I'll do it. I feel very lucky to visit these countries and be treated well. The only time I've been desperately ill was in my ancestral homeland of France. I just broke down, and after too much rich food, just every once in a while you spin the wheel and you lose. And of course, my producers love nothing more than catching me like curled up in a fetal position on a cold tile floor. They think that's video gold.
Now, on the old show and then now on the new show, I notice we see quite a lot of you drinking and smoking.
Yeah, well, that's how I keep my girlish figure.
But you consume a great quantity of the local spirits, it seems like.
You're not making friends in the world if you don't keep up. I mean, like I said, I'm a good guest. You know, you go to Russia, and for instance, where it's really tough to keep up. All of the toasts are personal. You know, it's like, this is to our, glorious countries. This is to our homelands. This is to the spirit of international cooperation. This is to our mothers. What are you going to do? Say, well, the hell with your mother.
Yeah. I'm going to sit this one out. Right. That doesn't work, does it?
I try to keep up.
Yeah. Now, in the terms of, I think you eat different kinds of food than I would order in a restaurant. If I were to go into, like, your restaurant, what would be the most, for me, unusual dish I might consume? Like you have sweetbreads in there?
We have sweetbreads. We have pig's feet.
Now, pig's feet, how are those prepared?
All the bones are taken out. They're essentially stewed till they're tender. All the bones are taken out. Then they're spread with a little mustard, breadcrumbs.
Are they
sauce.
tasty?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. And the sweetbreads, that's cow brains?
Thymus glands.
Oh, thymus glands.
They're glandy delicious.
No kidding. I always thought sweetbreads were the brains. What are the brains called?
Brains.
And well, how do you prepare the thymus glands?
Light dusting of flour, saute in a hot pan with butter. They're delicious.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But I mean, almost anything would be delicious prepared that way, wouldn't it?
I think you're gonna find that most chefs love that stuff after work, and for their it's to their own taste. We get bored with steak and lobster, and it takes a real cook to coax flavor and texture out of a hoof or snout.
Yes, sir. Now, it seems like just a few years ago there was one or two television chefs. There was Julia Child, and then maybe you had Jacques Pepin, and then that seemed like to be pretty much the run-of-the-mill as far as TV chefs go. And now they're just everywhere, for God's sakes.
Yeah, they're popping up everywhere, aren't they?
Are these truly world-class chefs that we see on television now?
Some of them. I mean, I may not like Emeril's show, but the guy's a real chef. I mean, he's worked in the business forever. He paid his dues. Guys like Mario Batali, that's a real chef. Mm-hmm. Some of these creatures, like the one who has the show where apparently they show you how to take a 2-week-old box of Triscuits, some Cheese Whiz, and some some Cool Whip, and you can feed your family, and they'll lose weight.
Weight. Wow.
Yeah, is that a chef? Rachel Ray, cute, but is that a chef?
Oh, but she's hot. I am very fond of Rachel Ray. I worry about her because she travels all over eating $40 a day. And your point about spending $40, anybody can spend $40 a day on food if
you stiff every waiter in town.
That's right.
the traveling deadbeat. It's like, tip, lady.
But she's very, very cute. So anyway, the new show, to give us an idea where you're going. We know you're in Vietnam. We know you're going to Iceland. You know you're going to Russia. What other locations?
Just got back from Uzbekistan. Mm-hmm. Let's see, Vietnam. Was it Borneo? Las Vegas.
Borneo?
Yeah.
With actual man-eaters, is that correct?
My host, I stayed in a longhouse in the jungle with these heavily tattooed Dayak dudes who, some of the older generations still have tattoos on their fingers. Mm-hmm. Indicating that they lopped off heads back in the day. Wow. And in fact, I ate dinner in the longhouse with the tribe, and they had a big little bouquet of skulls over the...
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, was that just for show, or that really is
that's,
artifacts of their ancestry, their heritage?
They're of recent memory in some cases.
Is that right?
It's food, folks, and fun out there. Yeah. It's simple cuisine, but...
Now, how do these guys decide who they'll eat? I mean, who makes that decision?
I don't know. They were couldn't have been nicer to me. I was grateful for that.
Guess what we're having for dinner tonight? Larry. That's just awful. Well, I'm fascinated by the show and also your books and your restaurant. The show is called No Reservations, Monday at 10 on the Travel Channel. Where the hell is the Travel Channel?
Again, I think here it's on like 88, something 88. Like that. But well worth searching around the dark.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Anthony Bourdain, ladies and gentlemen, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here, sir. We'll be right back, everybody. I used to do a thing where I would take off all my clothes and I would sit on a piece of cheese and then you swallow a live mouse. But that's a different... That's a different... That's a different...
Totally different.
That's a different...
Yeah, that has nothing to do with this. No.
Our next guest stars on a popular Travel Channel series entitled No Reservations. Please welcome Anthony Bourdain. This show, I guess you've been doing it for about 5 years in one form or another, where you travel around the world to exotic places and you sample the food, the cuisine, and the life of these areas. And I've seen you eat some things, and I just wonder, do you get sick? Do you get hepatitis? Do you throw up? Have you ever been really ill?
Only 2 times in 4 years, only 2 times.
Is
Once
that right?
In France, of all places.
What were you eating in France that turned on you?
Just, too much of a good thing. Another time, the business end of well, let's put it this way, sanitation in the Kalahari is not a premium, you know? Especially when you're eating the business end of a warthog. And,
really, a warthog?
Not good. Sand, fur, and crap in every bite. That was not good. But most of the time, if I find myself kind of on a cold tile floor after a meal on this show, most of the time it's alcohol related.
I see. Well, good. I can rest assured now. But is it true? And I guess I have this impression from watching your show that humans pretty much can eat anything. Is that about right?
Pretty much. I wouldn't recommend. I don't know. I'm not a Chicken McNugget fan, but
those things will kill you. Hello. And I didn't see this show, but I think I saw it in a promo where it's a snake. They cut the heart out of a cobra. How do they do? Where was that?
It's in Vietnam. I've come to dread the phrase "something very special." As Mr. Bourdain, we have something very special for you. That usually means there's something still living or. Living not too long ago. It's a table-side dish, and they bring the cobra by, and they let him kind of strike at you and hiss, and then they zip him open with a pair of gardening shears, and a little heart drops into a plate, and you eat it, and it is, in fact, beating all the way down.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Whoa. But, do you swallow it? Do you chew it? What do you do?
It's kind of a one-bite. It's like eating a very athletic, angry oyster.
An athletic oyster. Oh, my God. And you say Vietnam is considered a delicacy, or is that something they have all the time?
It's not an everyday dish.
Yeah, something special, like you said.
Honored guest. It's kind of an early. It's supposed to put you in the mood and cause many, many sons.
Ooh, wow. Speaking of that, had a child, not a son, but a little girl. Is that correct?
I'm a new first-time dad.
Well, congratulations, Steve.
Thank you.
How old is the girl?
She's 11 months, and I've recently discovered the unholy supernatural powers of Elmo. I don't know whether you've noticed this. It's like hitting her with a stun gun. She calms right down, loves that, just sits there mesmerized by him. I have this kind of recurring nightmare that I wake up and I go into the living room and she's there watching Rachel Ray with the same blissed out look on her face, and I'm stop.
But now this brings up an interesting question, and I know it's occurred to you. A lot of times kids go through phases, and sometimes not just a phase, but they just become picky or difficult eaters. And you eat anything, and you want your daughter to eat anything too, right?
This child will never know what a grilled cheese sandwich with a crust cut off is. She will soon be on a first name basis with every sushi chef in Manhattan. It'll be Uncle Masa, Uncle Yasuda, and Mom's Italian, and already getting. I'm not kidding. Prosciutto flavored baby food sent over.
Really?
So.
Oh, well, that's nice.
This will not be. A happy but weird child, I'm hoping.
Well, that's all you can hope for. But I remember reading one of your books where you started out working, as everybody does in that business, in these sweatshop-like restaurants, tourist places up on Cape Cod. Was that what it was?
Uh-huh.
Now, could you go back and do that again?
You know, it's funny. I went back recently. I get a lot of grief from old friends who are still chefs, and they say, you know, you've been doing this for the TV thing for a long time now. You know, you're past it. You know, you've lost all your credibility. You know, do you even cook anymore? So I thought, well, you know what? I'll go back to my old restaurant and I'll work my old double Tuesday shift where I'd work from 8 o'clock in the morning till midnight. What I kind of neglect, and I'll film it, you know, for television. You know, really bad idea because the restaurant, the kitchen is the same size, but the dining room has doubled in size. It's 8 years later. I'm 51 years old. Fortunately, however, I thought if I'm going to suffer, it's always better to have someone you know suffer along with you, and maybe even worse. So I invited Eric Repair, who's the chef of Le Bernardin, to join me.
And you don't need to. I don't need to tell. But this guy, you ever eaten in that place?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, I've had 3 great meals in my life. They've all been at that restaurant.
He's a great chef. It's a civil. He's never worked in anything but like a 3-star, very refined, beautiful kitchen. So here he is.
The thing this guy does, I don't mean to interrupt, but this Eric Repair, the thing he does is with aerosol cheese. Have you tried that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, go ahead.
You know, here Leal, where I worked, it's a turn and burn steakhouse. It does 385, 500 meals, and and plus, as you know, he largely works with seafood. So I thought it'd be really funny to throw him into this busy mosh pit kitchen. And put him on the grill station. And so we ended up having a lot of fun.
Did it work pretty well? It must have been exhausting. It's exhausting even when you're a kid. Yeah.
I made it through the night, but I woke up the next day feeling it, and any notion I might have about going back to it, I'm kidding myself.
Now, the other thing that I've gained from watching the show is the one message, if there's any other message, it's that you should eat more organ meat.
Yeah. Anybody, you can really train a reasonably intelligent bonobo monkey to grill a steak or boil a lobster. It takes really, and I have.
But you got to get in there. I mean, for example, sweetbreads, again, is it the thymus gland?
The thymus gland.
Thymus gland.
I think most chefs really love that stuff, the shanks and shoulders and the tough bits, the squiggly bits, because it really takes some craft and some magic to make that into something good.
That was it when the relationship of humans to food was more than just a nice time out. I mean, it was essential. You had to use all of the animal.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the real cooking is, and you know where your food comes from then. It's not this shrink-wrapped kind of hygienic stuff.
The show, Mondays at 10 a.m., is a huge hit for the Travel Channel. It's Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. Good to see you again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next guest is a star of a new Travel Channel series entitled The Layover. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Anthony Bourdain. Everyone, the enigmatic Anthony Bourdain. Thank you for being here. How's it going? You know what I mean?
Good.
Anthony, how much do you weigh?
196.
196, and you look like you're about 6'4", something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Whenever I see your show, the No Reservation, I'm worried because it's not like you have a meal. You have 3 or maybe 4 meals and then snacks every show, and I think, how can this guy not be jeopardizing his health? I mean, are you in good shape? What's your cholesterol?
Not so good.
Not so good.
Yeah.
And are you still...
No, cut down on the cigarettes.
Yeah.
I managed to quit that a few years ago.
And do you exercise? Do you work out?
I got to get to that one of these days. No.
Now, the other thing is that you're always gone. You're never home. I mean, how many days of the year are you out traveling, shooting your program?
Between the show and speaking gigs, about 240 days a year.
240 days a year.
That's a lot of time in airports.
Yeah. Now, do you like that?
I have the best job in the world, so as long as it's fun, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah. But you have a little girl at home. How old is she? 4 years old?
She's about 4.5.
4.5 years old. Now, do you get to take her with you on the show?
You'll notice a suspiciously high number of shows in Italy, where my wife's from, Western Europe, where my in-laws can come and all be together. So
well,
I try to plan destinations around.
No, if you can do that, that's a lovely thing. And now you have a second show, and I'm thinking,
Well, what do you? I mean, come on.
I'm milking this celebrity chef thing for everything I can
But
get
do you
out
realize
of it.
how many people, how many sad cases of people who only have one show? Are you aware of that? It's tragic. It's pathetic. Now, I watched the Layover show today, and to me, it's the same as the other show. Explain to me the difference between No Reservations and Layover.
Well, No Reservations, it's more about me having fun, and whether other people can replicate the experience or not, I don't really care. You know, it's all about me.
Hedonistic.
Layover is we're trying anyway to be useful, meaning these are places, destinations that you can actually
So
go.
you're in Malaysia, it was Singapore when I saw this
Yep.
show, and you get 24 plus hours in Singapore. So
Yeah.
what do? You go to this tremendous, huge food market kind of place where it had a million different kinds of cuisine and a million different kinds of stuff. Was it all good?
Their street food is maybe the best in the world. You get the most variety and the highest number of places. You know, it's good, cheap, delicious, and probably good for you.
Yeah. And why, and compare it to what? Compare it to the United States, compare it to New York. Our street food compared to their street food? Really?
I mean, you know, I love meat on a stick, but you tend to pay a price for it here.
Yeah.
It's just the street gyros, you know, I can't stay away from them. I know, you know, that's going to be some extra time on the Thunder Bucket, but well worth it.
And why, in a place like Singapore, would the quality of food be better than it is here in this country?
Because everything else is illegal.
They run a very strict society, don't they?
Yeah.
Everything, including what? No drugs? No
Drugs
littering?
are-
No littering?
Littering, no. You know, I think even like some television shows that we take for granted that we consider pretty mild stuff, no go over there.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that has been stuck up my nose for the last 10 years. And you're the guy to help me out with. We have two 24-hour-a-day food networks.
Yes.
Talking about, oh, look how much fun it is to prepare food. Look at how much fun it is to eat food. Look at a dozen different ways to prepare the same thing. We have two networks, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now you also have shows where it's guys who are going to, cake wars. And they're going to, I can build a cake that looks like a Jeep. Okay, build a cake that looks like...
Yeah.
And then you have the cupcake wars. And then you have the top chef or the bottom chef or the last chef or on and on and on and on. And this is all well and good, except for the fact that in the world there's 100 million people starving. So how do we justify the commerce that is generated off gluttony with the fact that 100 million people in the world are starving?
Well, you know, where I draw the line is, you know, you see someone on TV making, you know, a bacon cheeseburger with an egg on top between two Krispy Kreme donuts. I just thinking, you know, have we crossed the line? Is this something America needs right now?
No. And it's something. Now, what I wonder about are all of the, like your show, for example. A certain amount of your profits go to the World Food Program or something like that, or like the Food Channel. Did they take this into consideration?
No, actually, I spend all the money on crack cocaine and, you know, shiny new cars. No.
Shiny new cars. But the crack cocaine.
No, but I
And
mean, at least we come with a parental advisory, which, I mean, I do a lot of unhealthy stuff on my show, but I'm not, you know, I think perhaps some of these other shows would be a good idea to...
Well, they get that one guy who travels around and says, okay, today we got a meatloaf the size of this desk. You have 20 minutes to eat it.
What do they think of this show in Afghanistan?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. There are people in this world to keep their stomachs full are actually eating dirt. And then this guy's, all right, bring it on! And then they wheel in this thing on a gurney, and Tubby sits down and goes crazy.
Well, you know, why do people watch this show?
I don't know why.
I'll tell you why. You want to... I think they're watching it for the same reason that people go to see Siegfried and Roy. You know, you want someone to die. You figure today's the day he's going to choke on that burger.
You want to be there when the guy pitches forward
When
into
the tiger takes a bite out of a German.
Yeah.
Hey.
Germans? Come on, lighten up a little bit. Now, do you find it a day will you ever go back to actually chefing again? Are you done chefing?
Well, I hope I don't have to go back to brunch, but it's always a possibility. I don't think I'd be much use in the kitchen.
Why was brunch the problem?
You know, no matter how low things were in my life, how desperate, how unlovely my personal habits at the time, I knew I could always get a brunch gig. So for me, brunch was always, the smell of failure was French toast.
Well, you can't go wrong with Eggs Benedict either, for God's sake. Anyway, it's a brand new show. It's called The Layover. You can see it beginning November 21st at 9. Now, will that follow No Reservations?
In between.
In between.
I mean, we're going to
no
stop
reservations,
those reservations.
No,
Yeah.
good for you. Anthony Bourdain, ladies and gentlemen. Good
Thank
to see you.
you.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
We'll be right back with Joan Baez and Chris Christopherson and everybody. I can't know you made me cry.
For example, this container right here, you could recycle this.
That's right.
Take the little CD thing out of there, put it in your machine, and recycle this, unless you wanted to save it. Saving is, I guess, the same as recycling. What you don't want to do is bury it in the yard.
No.
And you don't want to burn it. But you
That's
can recycle.
the long box, too.
The long box.
Long box, a lot of paper there that can be
frankly,
recycled.
Paul, between you and me, I've seen them longer. This looks like the medium box to me. My next guest has been making records for over 2 decades. Here I have a copy of his brand new album. It's called The Missing Years and has just been nominated for a Grammy Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John Prine. John, come on out here. Thank you for being here. Come on over. John Prine, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very nice to have you here.
Thank you.
You've been in music for a long time, haven't you?
About 20 years.
How old were you when you began?
24.
24, and you started out doing what? Writing songs, singing songs?
Writing songs and singing them in a little small club in Chicago.
Yeah? Where in Chicago? What club?
Over at the Fifth Peg on Armitage.
Is it still there?
No, it turned into a French restaurant, and now they tore it down. There ain't nothing there.
You know, that's what they ought to do with those French restaurants. Are you with me on this? But when you started out and you went in there, was it a dump? Was it dangerous? Or was it a nice kind of friendly little place?
It wasn't a bad place at all.
Yeah?
Pretty nice little bar.
Did they like you? Did they take to you pretty well?
They liked me right away. I didn't plan on doing this for a living. I just kind of got up on a dare one night.
Uh-huh. And
sang a couple of songs.
How long would you work there?
I worked there for about 6 months and moved over to a place called the Earl of Old Town.
Mm-hmm. So you just kind of, there was a little circuit that you played there in Chicago?
There was a good folk scene going on in Chicago back in the early 70s.
Yeah, was that fun? Did you find that was one of the best times of your
career?
career?
A lot more fun than working for a living.
Yeah. And you also, you were a public servant, weren't you? You were a mailman
I was
for
a
a while?
mailman for 6 years.
When was this, before or after?
It was before I started singing.
Wow. Were you a good mailman?
Well, I got the mail out there, you know, somehow. There's not a whole lot to think about when you're out on a mail route.
Yeah. Is it, to me, it seems like it's hard, physically difficult work, and tedious. Was that a problem for you?
That, the weather, and the dogs.
Yeah.
Otherwise...
Were you ever injured in the line of duty?
Yeah, I got bit in the backside once. I dragged the dog about a half a block down the street.
What, were you full of Novocaine or what?
He wouldn't let go.
Oh, he wouldn't let go. But 6 years, that's a pretty good run.
Yeah, well, it was all you know, I probably would have stayed there for another 6 if I hadn't started singing.
Yeah, well, good for you. I mean, it worked out very nicely, I think. And this record, this album, the CD, I'm sorry, I'm getting older. All your old friends are here helping you out, aren't you?
We had a bunch of friends help me out on this.
Bruce Springsteen, yeah.
Bonnie Raitt.
Right.
Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Phil Everly and Christina Amphlett.
Yeah, that's a real nice tribute, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope this is a big success. Is it doing pretty well?
It's doing real good, thank
Good
you.
to see you, John. Thank you very much for being here. John Prine, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with a little more Delaware John Prine Band.
How about that guy?
Yeah, the
That's
greatest.
it. That's one of a kind. That's it. That's all we got left.
Broke the mold.
Tremendous.
That's it.
Our next guest is a Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter whose music is the subject of this forthcoming tribute entitled Broken Hearts and Dirty Windows, Songs of John Prine. Now, please welcome with special guest Yim Yames of My Morning Jacket, John Prine.
I walk, love walk with me, and I got no hate, and I got no pride. Yeah, I got so much love that I just can't hide. Yeah, I got so much love that I just can't hide.
Boy, that was nice. How do you do, sir? Beautiful job. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yim, good to see you. John, that was beautiful. Great to have you. Broken Hearts and Dirty Windows, the music of John Prine, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Have a great holiday weekend. Good night, everybody.
Now, stay tuned for Craig Ferguson. This is Alan Coulter speaking. Good night, everybody.
Try me, Guido.